So very good morning to all of you who have joined in today during this Saturday morning for this webinar session. So I'm Vallikanu K. I'm an alumni of BTech Biotech 2007 batch. And today I'm very happy that we have an alumni from my same department who's going to address all of you on changing consumer behavior lead to new avenues of business. So I take privilege in welcoming the speaker for today, Ms. Likitha Bhanu, our faculty members from VIT, members from Alumni Association of VIT, student friends, and all interested individuals who have joined in today. So without further delay, we'll move on to the presentation. So before the speaker's presentation, I'll just give you a short brief about introducing the speaker. So Ms. Likitha Bhanu is our proud alumnus from BTech Biotech 2010 batch. She co-founded Terra Greens Organic along with her mother Padmaja Bhanu in 2012. Terra Greens was started with a mission to provide healthy and 100% organic food to the consumer, which is good for them, the farmer, and the planet. Terra Greens, which was started out of a family farm, today works with 10,000 farmers all India and has a retail presence in over 1,000 outlets and provides employment to over 100 people. Recently, Terra Greens has also forayed into retail under the brand name Green Station and has opened their first store in Hyderabad. Trained at Harvard and Stanford universities, Likitha holds a passion for sustainable lifestyle choices and believes food to be an integral part of it. She's actively involved in spreading awareness about making the right choices, not only for ourselves, but also the environment that we live in, and hopes to contribute to the sustainability movement at scale. Apart from business, she's passionate about issues and challenges faced by women in all walks of life, travel, and learning about new cultures. And we are also proud to now inform you all that she's the winner of our Honorable Chancellor's Special Award 2020 in the Alumni Day function, which was held in on January 26, 2020. So we are happy to have you here, Likitha. And once again, I would like to thank all of you who have joined in, all the faculty members, students, alumni members, and other interested individuals who have joined in here as well. Thank you, and over to you, Likitha.
Thanks, Valli. I have a point here to add. Ms. Likitha is our first alumna from entrepreneurship background to get this award. So we are very proud of you, Likitha. Please, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to come back to VIT, and my university has been so gracious to have me over many times. This is our first webinar. So I apologize in advance for being a little bit uncomfortable because it feels like I'm talking to my computer. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining in. I hope this makes some sense to you. Since we are all in a very unusual time, I don't think that any one of us has ever lived through a pandemic. We are seeing a lot of change. There is some change that is welcome, some change not so welcome. And with change comes a lot of fear because there is a lot of fear of the unknown. We don't know what lies on the other side. How do we react? How do we prepare? So this is a situation wherein a lot has been left to imagination. So I thought that maybe a conversation around what can change bring about, or what kind of change can we anticipate in the coming future, should be of some help to see how we run our existing businesses, or in case you're looking to start a new business, which avenues should you be looking at? So that's something that I want to touch upon on a broad level. I've kept the presentation very simple and given a sort of a structure for a discussion. So I ask all of you to ask me a lot of questions and also kind of be interactive. So I'll wrap up the presentation fairly quickly, and then we can have more conversation on what you are thinking. Is there a specific area that you've been thinking about for a long time that suddenly feels not so lucrative considering the current times? To start off with, I just want to give you a little bit of brief about myself, though Valli gave an excellent introduction. So Terra Greens actually was started off as a passion project, considering my mom was a farmer for about 25 years. And then I graduated from VIT. I took 6 months off. I was well on my way to become a biotech engineer who was interested in genetic engineering and molecular biology. And I had no idea that agriculture would be my calling, considering at that point of time I didn't know the difference between tur dal and chana dal. So, and now I do agri commodity trading, right? So, this started off as her passion project. I just chimed to help in. And we started as a really small unit wherein one summer we got a bounty mango crop and we were trying to sell. And that's when the brand took off. We would pack the mangoes in my basement with my watchman, and then I would drive it down to all the stores and deliver. And with that started a brand and a project wherein we tied up with about 100 farmers in 2012. We wanted to be in the business of supply chain because the authenticity of the product that we sold was very important to us. So we built it right from the farmer till the end consumer. So today we work with about 12,000 farmers. BIT had a great hand in helping me reach out to 4,000 farmers in the Kanchipuram belt, because I did attend a farmers meet that BIT hosts every year. So like that, we got a lot of farmers on board. We train them, support them, we procure from them, package in our facility here, and distribute through all channels of retail, which is modern trade, general trade, traditional trade, organic trade. We have our presence is mostly in south of India and east with Kolkata, and our main operations consist of building the farmer base and manufacturing. Retail presence, of course, is a work in progress for us. We hope to increase our distribution system in the coming years. Apart from that, we did start off a small retail brand called Green Station last year. We park modified trucks around the city in Hyderabad. The focus there is fruits and vegetables, because most of us consume a lot of fruits and vegetables in our daily diet, and that's where most chemicals and pesticides and food adulteration happens. So we wanted to start off that supply chain, and with that we started Green Station. Considering the changing times now, since we are in the essential food category, our operations weren't very badly hit. I think I'm very grateful to be in the business of food, because not only gives me happiness that we are in the business of giving good food to people, but we're also, we feel very proud of our staff and the labor who have turned up even in this difficult time to make sure that we still hold on the supply chain. So we've been functioning. We've not shut down. We've not shut down even for a day, which is a good thing, touch wood. And we have suddenly started looking at how we function in a crisis, because again, like when you're running a business, you're always thinking about what to do, what's on your hand, about growth, but you never prepare for an earthquake. So we were not prepared for an earthquake, but it happened to us. So we started early. In February itself, we started taking all the hygiene steps. We started training our labor on this on safety, hygiene. We bought all the personal protection equipment, and we were one of the first to start contactless deliveries, no cash transactions, no entries, and we stopped our truck operations because we didn't want our staff to go out. So these are the few things that we did, and I think it's still work in progress. We will be implementing more and more checks and balances as we go ahead. I think that's a brief about what we do as a business. I started off as an entrepreneur by chance. I was 22 when I started out. This is my 9th year in business. So I think over the years, what I have learned is to change and not to be nimble, to accept that things are going wrong or we've failed, to pick myself up and move on. So considering the current crisis situation that we are in, the main thing that we need to know is how to fail and how to fail quickly, so that we're not losing time, energy and money doing that, and then move so that we do something which actually succeeds, and also to keep your eyes and ears open for opportunity, because opportunity is everywhere. So like again, considering what we're going through right now, I think these are the questions that we ask ourselves every day, right? Like, are things going to be the same ever again? Are we going to go back to being the way we were? Are we going to be comfortable sitting in a classroom with 80 people or sharing a desk with a stranger? Are we going to carry sanitizers and disinfectant wipes everywhere we go? These are the things that, the questions that we ask. Or are we ever going to go back to a classroom situation? Or what is that we're looking at? Like I was saying, the future is the unknown. The fear of the unknown has become too much right now, because suddenly we've gone through a huge change, which has not only been it's not only changing the way we live, but it's also very equalizing in a way that all of us have the same fear of safety. So that is changing for us. And what does this mean to us as individuals, as business owners, as students, as college goers, or people who interact with a lot of people? I know faculty is on this webinar, so I mean, you interact with so many people on a daily basis. Would you be okay letting a student into your cabin without fear? So I think the changing mindset of personal space, the change of what it means, and also the confidence levels with which we would put ourselves out in a public place has definitely changed. I don't think that things are going to go back to how it was, but at the same time, the future needn't be as scary as it sounds. So how do we make best of the situation that we are in? So again, victory comes in finding opportunities in problems. Like I said, the biggest high for me as an entrepreneur, and most entrepreneurs, is to look at opportunity and in problems. So when we are stuck, even if it's a math problem, I remember this quote by Travis Kalanick, one of the sessions of his that I attended, was that think of yourself as a math teacher, and a math teacher without problems is a very sad math teacher. So you need to have, you need to be happy that there are certain challenges, so you can be creative. You have to see opportunity in them. So as maybe entrepreneurs already, and as budding entrepreneurs, how do you see opportunity in the current situation that we are in? So what's our problem statement? I think like I said, a math teacher requires a problem statement. So the problem statement here that we're looking at is that people are going to be paranoid about hygiene and safety. That is not going to change, especially people in the high risk category: pregnant women, young children, ailing older people. So these are the people who are the high risk category, and people who are around the high risk category, of course, will be more and more scared about how they are going to be exposed to the virus. And there are studies which are saying that this is not the only virus, right? There might be more coming in the future. So how do we prepare? So that's one of our problem statements. Then drop in consumerism. People are losing their jobs. People are getting pay cuts. People do not know what is going on, suddenly we've gone back to shopping at our kirana stores. Suddenly we feel there is no need for us to buy new clothes and new shoes and new bags and things like that every day. There is a drop in cosmetic sale. There is a drop in consumerism in terms of going out. The F&B industry, the packaging industries, the things have come down. Then there is going to be a drop in experience related activities. The millennial generation, especially people who were born in the 80s and later, they are extremely high on experience. So if we before COVID, if anybody would have asked me, oh, I'm getting into retail or I'm getting into a consumer centric business, what is the number one thing that people look for? And I would have said experience. Like even when you're using an app, to watching a show, to going to a store, to a mall, or picking up a product, whatever it is, it was all about the look and feel. Did it make me feel good? Did it make the feeling or the self-actualization part was number one, especially travel booming, the events industry booming, the wedding industry booming, or the photography with the coming of social media. How do I present myself? Everything became experience related, and now suddenly things have become survival related. So I don't care about how I feel when I go to a supermarket as long as I get what I need. That is the thing that has come into play, which was the case in the 80s before our economy opened up and a lot of things kept. We were exposed to a lot more products. I think when my parents were growing up, things were very simple. Everything you would get in the nearby neighborhood kirana store. But now I want to travel. We want the brand which is available in Australia because the logistics has developed so much. So it's all about experience. But now suddenly it's all about availability. It's about convenience. It's about safety. It's about survival. Increased demand for at-home entertainment. I think since we are spending so much time at home, we have to be entertained and we have to entertain. So the film industry suddenly is looking at your at-home entertainment platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video and all these things, because at-home entertainment has gone up. Even the social media platforms, they're looking at high rise in content consumption, because we are all sitting at home and staring into our phones instead of even talking to people or socializing, because we're not interacting or going out or meeting people on a daily basis. Is this something that is going to become a habit? Are we going to be very happy staying at home with ourselves, with just our family members and things like that? This is something that we need to look at. Another huge problem, I'm sure people with children will agree to this, is how do we entertain our children at home? Because suddenly the summer camp option is out of the window. So we have to start doing things at home to keep them entertained. So are we looking at building activities which are more one-on-one and not group activities? Or how do we socialize our children even without actually physically meeting other children? Another problem statement on the supply chain end, something that I am facing, is the lack of labor or lack of domestic help, because now all the migrant labor and everybody is moving back. So how do we deal with this acute labor shortage that is going to hit in the coming few months? What are the solutions? Are we going to evolve to be an economy like the developed nations where things are automized? But what is going to happen to all the people who need employment in our country? Because we are a large country with a lot of people, and especially a lot of unskilled people. So what do we do there? So these are the problem statements that are in front of us. And when we look at them, we feel like there's this change that's going to hit. Life is not going to be how we knew it. So what do we do? So where does the opportunity lie? So when we were talking about the problem statements itself, we were saying that, we were saying that, these are problems, but in problems lie opportunity as well. So I want that shift in mindset. For example, I can take my own example. We have a retail platform called Green Station. We started out last June. We were looking at expanding our retail presence, our offline retail presence. We signed a huge property. We were going to make it as an experience store with like a gifting zone, and we had the blueprints ready, everything good to go. And March 1st, we signed, I released the advance, everything was done. And then we went into lockdown. And though our sales have increased because people have started buying more essentials, and health as a category itself has boomed thanks to the number one problem statement here, which is paranoia about safety and hygiene. So we have seen an increase, but suddenly the way I look at reaching out to my customers has changed. Do I really need a big store with an experience zone? Will people come in for experience anymore? Will people come in at all? So these are the questions that we asked ourselves, and we said, no, maybe this is not how we go about it. So what do we do now? So we are trying to come up with more and more solutions with the current problem statement that we have. The other thing that we've done is our website was like, just because we need a website, we had a website. So, but in the current scenario, the website is seeing so much traffic that the people that I have, because we never hired people for website maintenance or anything like that, because the sale was so low. And now they are under so much pressure because the sale has suddenly increased so much on the website. So now we think like, okay, online is here to stay. So we want to invest in building a good website which we can integrate to our backend. So these are the things that we have to change as businesses in terms of operations, and also how do we present ourselves to the customer. Now my customer is not asking if my product is organic or not, or they're not asking me questions like, why is it so expensive? They're asking me questions like, where are you sourcing it from? Are you sure your supply chain is safe? What measures are you taking so that your staff, which is handling the product, is not a threat to me? These are the questions that the consumer is asking me. So when it's a consumer-centric approach that you take, the problem statements, and you adapt yourself to the problem statements, that's where opportunity lies. Coming to consumerism, what are the things that people will look? For example, in products, are you going to be okay eating street food anymore? Or are you going to be okay buying something from a restaurant and feeding it to your grandmother? So we are looking at the ready-to-cook option as a huge market. So we're thinking that one step before cooking, so that something that you can get home and heat in your tawa, or reheat at home so that you feel safe, is something that we're looking at as a huge market in the coming times. And everywhere lies an opportunity. The other day, we were some conversation with one of my friends, and I have a dog, and every day I wipe him with disinfectant wipes every time I take him out and I get him back home. And then now I have seen supermarkets stock on pet wipes. They have an entire category wherein they're stocking on disinfectant pet wipes, which is a main thing, because urban population, they have a lot of pets, and we take care of our pets, and these pets come and like put their paws and their face in our face. So we want them to be hygienic, but we cannot give them a bath every day. So that's a huge market that is developing in the coming years. Lack of labor, domestic health. There was a very interesting study that I read, was that toasters, the sale of toasters have gone up. It's one of the highest growing categories post-COVID, because people are making toast at home. They're not picking up Starbucks anymore. So that's the category. Home appliances, vacuum cleaners. These are the things that will come up in the coming times. Laundromats. Because I don't know, I don't want to give my clothes to the dhobi anymore. So these are the things, not only from paranoia for safety and hygiene, but also because the migrant labor are going back to their villages. Are we going to have that neighborhood istriwala anymore, right? So these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves and look for opportunity in these times. I know that I think I spoke for quite a bit now. So I'll just move on to a very small thing which I wanted to include, is a learning for me. And as an entrepreneur, like I said, we never prepared for an earthquake. We prepare for things like growth. We prepare for problems that come with projecting growth, not reaching our targets or things like that, but we do not prepare for external factors. So what I did with all the consultation from a lot of people when this happened, so I thought maybe I should share it with you. And something that I'm continuing to do is, the first thing is to take care of our people. I think as entrepreneurs, the main responsibility that we have is the people that work for us and with us. And when I say take care of our people, it doesn't only mean employees, it means our vendors, our distributor partners, everybody. I think when all of us are in a crisis and we turn up for people when people are in a crisis, is when they'll remember you. And as a leader, it's very, very important to stand up at this time. It's difficult because you are there to motivate them, but who's there to motivate you? So it's important to stand up for yourself first and then for everybody at this time. So that's one thing that I try to do every day, even though it's the toughest part of my job. Take care of our supply chain. So in February itself, we did reach out to all the people and try and order in inventory so that we don't have supply challenges. Also on the distributor end, we did speak to our distributors, try and minimize the number of players that are coming in from the farm to the end consumer, so that we have more control over the supply chain. These are the few things that we implemented very, very early on, so that that helped us in kind of keeping us afloat. We did see a drop in sales in March, but thankfully we recovered fairly quickly in April. So I think these steps that we took beforehand really helped us. Building strong communication channels. Pre-COVID, I would have weekly meetings with my team. Now I speak to them every day. We do a video call in the morning at 9:30 with my factory team, and I do a video call with them at 5 o'clock in the evening, because every single day it's important to speak to them and also to know that, you know, your presence, though physically is not there, emotionally it's important that people know that you're there, and you and your energy is what translates into the team. So it's important to be there. And I think since I've spoken to my team a lot, I've gotten to know them better. I've taken this as an opportunity to actually know them, to listen to their problems, to be there, which before I think it was more, we weren't as cohesive. Now, considering we all have one particular issue and we all are working towards it, I think it's helped to bring the team closer. And also communication in terms of expectations. Expectations generally over communicate about them, so that everybody knows even down the line what is expected of them. Even if it's a simple thing like they need to wear a mask and wash their hands, expectations need to be communicated throughout. And again, coming back to something which is very important to what I was talking about, is to keep an eye out, to improvise, to pivot, and to maximize value. And that brings me to the end of the presentation, and also one of the favorite things that I like to say is that a true entrepreneur always searches for change. They love change, they respond to it quickly, and then they exploit it as an opportunity. Because if there is no change, that means there is no growth. So I think as entrepreneurs and as people who have the fire to build impact and to make a change in this world, we always have to be thankful for change. And we as a generation should be so thankful that we have the opportunity to be a part of such a path-breaking moment in history. So I think instead of looking at this as a setback, we need to look at this as something that will propel us into the future and to bring about opportunity wherein we can actually break the glass ceiling. So with that, I want to end my presentation. I hope I made some sense. I hope this is of value to you. I'm always available to take, I mean, there will be a Q&A now, but I will be available to take your questions if you ever want to. That's my email. You can follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. I'm not that active on LinkedIn as I would like to be, but I definitely check my email, and I'm fairly active on Instagram. So you can take down my contact details. Vali, I think I'm done. So if there are any questions for me, that I would like to take it.
Okay, thank you, Likitha. So I had already mentioned in the chat box. So those of you who have your questions, you can please put it in the chat box. And if somebody is still particular about questioning her in person, maybe then you can raise hand. Otherwise, please, you can put your questions in the chat box, and I'm reading it out one by one to Likitha. So we already have got a lot of questions, Likitha. So the first question is from Debosmita. So her question is, if you had one piece of vital advice to someone starting their own business, what would it be?
I think to someone who's starting their business, first of all, congratulations, you've taken the first step. It's to just stick. I think most of us we are successful because we persevere. If you look at anybody who's made it in life, is because they've not said no to like they've never taken no as an answer. This is something that I tell my team every day, is that a lot of people, especially people in the workforce, and when we are students also, we're trained to succeed. We're trained to come first in class. We're trained to do a job very, very well. But what, as entrepreneurs, you need training, and you need to get like a really thick skin for, is failure. Because you'll fail every day. You need to train to fail. So you fail, you get up and you move on, and you have to persevere, because success, even though it hits you, it's a very out there feeling, because inside it's all about more growth, more change, more things that you need to do. So I guess that would be my advice, is to train to fail and to persevere through it.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Likitha. So the next question is from Akash. So his question is, almost all the FMCG companies are producing organic consumables like Patanjali, Shri Shri, Dabur, etc. They are already entering into this segment. So how do you manage to withstand the competitors' pressure in terms of pricing and brand recognition? Because he's gone through your website and he says that compared to competitors, the price seems to be high, but how do you withstand that pressure?
So, hi Akash. So the number one thing is that Patanjali and Dabur and all of them are not organic brands. They have, but I know the perception, the brand perception is the same. We are certified organic, so we come under a different category altogether, and we are not comparable in prices. Number one, because our product quality is not the same. And secondly, our scale is also not the same. If I was at a scale of Dabur or Patanjali, then probably that would be different. We're a much smaller company, we're more boutique. And we do hope to reach there. But considering our product line and considering our supply chain, it's impossible to reach that level at this time. We do not compete with them. Our competitors are different, and our market, the market in which we compete is also different. So I think the question there would be like, how would I be dropping my prices, or would I be doing the same thing as the brands that you've mentioned? I don't think so, because we are in a different, our target consumer group is the more informed, more educated, and the people who are not scared of paying that extra money for quality produce. So that is our target group that we look at.
Okay. Thank you, Likitha. So the next question is from Ms. Deepa. So her question is, from farm to fork, it falls under organic traceability. So how is it the produce cost managed?
I think Akash has answered Deepa's question. That's why we are expensive. Right. So it is. So basically the entire supply chain, how it works is from the producer till the produce is packed in my packet, we have to have traceability. At every point, we have checks and balances. At every point, things are audited and certified. We do pesticide residue tests for every batch that we procure directly from the farmers. So these are mandatory checks and balances if you're certified organic, that is under the NOP or the USDA standards, which we are. So all these things add cost, and that's why it reflects on the end packet. And also we come under the luxury segment, because people think eating healthy food is a luxury, which it is not. It is a necessity. But even then, because we come under that category, our retail margins, the margins that we shell out to retailers, are also fairly high. So that's why the cost is high on every level. But having said that, I think with scale, we can definitely bring the prices down. When I first started out in 2013, we used to buy at a 30-35% premium. And now I buy at a 15 to 20% premium. Because there is so much more supply than what it was back then. And we also have more access. We have more organic stores. We have more supermarkets willing to stock our products. So if the scale keeps increasing, that's when we see that we can bring our costs down.
Okay, thank you, Likitha. So the next question. Okay, this next question is from Anvesha. So her question is, can you enlighten on your client retention rate, and how do I know the most valuable customer?
So Anvesha, we have two different kinds of customer segments that we talk about. One is the business to business customer segment. So I do treat my distributors and retailers as customers. And then we have a relationship with the end consumer who actually picks up our packet, right? So these two customer relationships are very different, because we do have a face with the retailer. For example, I do business with, let's say, a D-Mart, right? I have a purchase manager, and there my relationship lies. But the person who's walking into a D-Mart, picking up the product and going out, I need to speak to that customer too. And here, when I say on the business to business side, the most valuable customer for me would be the customer which is giving me most revenue or giving me the most visibility. So when we talk about modern trade, they do give us like a large volume, but my profitability there is fairly low, because we do spend a lot in modern trade. But when it comes to visibility, there's nothing there's no other trade which gives me as much visibility as modern trade, right? So these are the two things that I measure generally in mapping out who my most valuable customer is on the business side. On the customer front, it's very difficult to say who's my most valuable customer, but I will say that the customers who value my product for what it is without they value quality, they value the fact that it's 100% organic. Customers who ask the right questions to me, those are the customers that I value the most, because they are the ones who know what they're buying and who value the proposition that the product is giving to. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Right. Thank you. So the next question is from Mr. Balakumar. So his question is, do you feel that industrial automation can resolve and handle operations?
Automation is something we are definitely looking at, because considering the acute labor shortage that we will be facing, there is no other way that we will be able to operate if not for automation. So yes, I think automation is something that we're looking at. Again, we have problems of scale, because organic is such a niche industry that we cannot churn out so much of one product in one day. So yeah, it's a chicken and egg problem for us, but we are definitely looking to automate right now.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Likitha. So apart from the questions, we also have a lot of appreciations for your presentations. In fact, especially the faculty members are giving you a lot of appreciations as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So one question from my end, like your biotech knowledge, was it of any help for the business you are into right now?
I didn't get you, Vali. Could you please repeat it?
No, your biotech knowledge, your undergraduation in biotech, was it of any some help for you in the business you are right now into?
Not really, but I can tell you one thing, that the training that I got in VIT, definitely, I think I learned a lot in college. But very recently, it did help me, because we changed our quality control manager in our factory, and we got a new person on board. We do maintain control samples, and we do the tests and everything, and moisture control and all that. And I actually trained him, and it did remind me of my lab days, wherein I maintained SOP documents and wrote specifications of things and stuff like that. So I think the things that you learn as a college student can be applied in many, many ways. I did, in that way maybe, but not really. I don't really think that I'm a good biotech engineer. I think I'm just, I'm just trying to be what I'm presented with right here.
Great. Okay, one last question from Ms. Trisala Anurag. So how are you planning to educate mass scale of people about the importance of organic vegetables and fruits?
So education comes, I think, with a lot of conversation, lots and lots of conversation. So we've always tried to have conversation wherever I go or my team goes. We do talk to people, we do educate them, we tell them the benefits of eating organic or even supporting the organic supply chain. Because when we do organic agriculture, like I said, my mother was a farmer. So we still do organic agriculture in 40 acres in the outskirts of Hyderabad. I see how difficult it is. We tell them, people, consumers who come to us and say, what is this? Why is it so expensive? Then we say, you know what, try it. Cut a tomato, put it in soil and wait. You have to wait for 60 days for anything to happen, and you don't even know if something will happen. And you don't put any inputs, don't do all the things that conventional agriculture calls for, and you wait and watch. Because then you will know the pain. I think me, like again, I was saying, I was a biotech engineer who went to VIT. I was fairly spoiled, not made for the hard work of the field. But when I started on the field. So we would, I would do experiments to grow different crops. I started home gardening, and that's when my respect for the farmer went up multifold. Today, I will not waste a single thing that comes into my house because I know the pain that it takes to grow, and to actually just throw it in the dustbin is like hurtful. So I think conversation and experience, similar experiences only develop empathy. I think that's where we need to talk about, and more conversations. So I urge everybody who's listened to me today to have more conversations about food, where it is coming from, how it's being grown. Because for every producer, their biggest pride is their produce, and we should take care of it and give it the due respect.
Thank you. So to the participants, we are limiting the questions to this. So I already have 2 questions which have come in. So we will close that with that. So the next question is from Mr. Venugopal Pasla. So how do you ensure and guarantee the customers that your product is genuine and 100% organic?
So we have, since they are certified organic, Venugopal, what we have is 100% traceability. So if you ever have a doubt, you can take a snapshot of the barcode, and I'll be able to trace it to the latitude and longitude of the farm that it's been grown in. So every point that we engage with, the farmer, the warehouse, the processing unit, my warehouse, our packaging unit, our end warehouse, everything is certified and audited. So unlike conventional farming, wherein it can come from anywhere, you just have to go to the mandi and pick up the produce, you don't know where it's coming from. Organic agriculture, on the other hand, is highly regulated. So if the next time, I think Akash's question as well, the next time you want to know if something is organic or not, please pick up the packet, look for certification. There's an India organic logo, a USDA organic logo that you need to look for. You also need to look for the words 100% organic. According to the guidelines, 100% organic cannot be used if that product does not have traceability. So no packet of the brands that Akash has mentioned will have those, because they're perceived to be healthier, but they're actually not, right? So as consumers also, it's our responsibility to educate ourselves, and every check and balances will be in place because we are again audited. I am answerable to the Ministry of Commerce and APIDA. So we are highly regulated.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the last question is a more science-based question. So what major pests actually attack your plants, and how do you control that, which is a major problem in many gardens?
This is from Emmanuel.
Yes, right.
I have a handbook called My Mother. So, she's an expert, and I am no agriculture expert. I'm pretty much just the carrier of her passion. So she does. She would know the answer to this question. I'm very sorry, but I don't know the answer to this question.
Right. Okay. So thank you, Likitha. Thank you so much for patiently answering all the questions. To the participants, I would request, like, if you still have any questions which you think are very important, you can you can mail to Likitha and get them clarified as well. And I take this opportunity to thank all of you who have taken time to listen to the presentation patiently, and who have actually contributed to a part of e-learning process. And thank you, Likitha, for having spent your busy time with our students and faculty members. And I also thank the Alumni Association of VIT for having organized such webinars. We have lots more to come. And I thank all the faculty members and students. And once again, thank one and all present here. Thank you.